edit this document which I've already opened in our application, then it will throw an error. And similarly, once the user exits, in this video, let's understand all about lock objects. So with that, we can conclude our discussion on ABAP dictionary. Lock objects are useful if you want to apply some logical lock in your application. To demonstrate this, for example, if I want to edit a billing document, I'll go to VF02 transaction. I'll select one document. While somebody is editing this document, if another user wants to edit the same document, then we should ideally not allow them to edit this document. They can edit any other document, but not this document, because I'm already editing this document. So we have to apply some kind of logical lock. So if I open VF02 again in another window and try to open the same document number, it will give me an error saying that this document is currently being processed. However, if I edit another document, different document, then it will allow me to edit this document. Right? So it doesn't throw an error for this document. However, the previous document which I already opened in another window, if I try to edit the same document, it is throwing that error. So when we develop our own applications, there will be situations where the user says, okay, apply some logical lock in such a way that if I'm already editing a transaction or editing something, then if somebody else tries to edit the same thing, we should throw an error saying that this is already being processed, so that it won't allow two people to make the same changes at the same time using our application. So we have to apply this lock at the application level. To achieve this, we use these lock objects. So what we do is we create a lock object which will in turn generate two function modules. One is to apply the lock and another is to remove the lock. Let's take the same billing document example. We'll create one lock object in such a way that whenever we want to apply the lock, we'll call a certain function module and pass a document number based on which we want to apply the lock. And if anybody tries to edit the same document in our application, then it will throw an error. And similarly, once the user exits this application, then we have to unlock it. So here in this case, again, it won't allow me to edit this document which I've already opened. It won't allow me to edit this document now, but in the other screen, if I leave this document, if I come out of it, then it will remove that lock at this point. So after this, if I come and edit that document, it will allow me to edit it. So we have to apply the lock as well as remove the lock. Once you're done with that transaction, we have to remove the lock so that others can now open it for editing. So we achieve that by using this lock object. It generates a couple of function modules called enqueue and dequeue. Whenever you want to apply a lock, you call this enqueue function module, and when you want to remove the lock, you call this dequeue function module. To create a lock, we should start the name with easy. So let's say easy underscore document. Give some name for your lock object. Click on create. Give some description. Under tables, you specify the table which your field belongs. So here we are trying to deal with document number. So I'll say VBRK, for example. And under lock mode, you have a lot of options, but generally we use these three, one of these three: write lock, read lock, or exclusive not cumulative lock. Write lock means any number of people can open it in display mode, but the moment somebody goes into a change mode to make some changes, at that time the lock will be applied. Read lock means only one person can even open in display mode. So if somebody is already seeing the document in display mode, then if somebody else wants to see the same document, it will apply the lock. So that is read lock. So even for read, it will give only access to one person to read it at once. Exclusive not cumulative means you can have any number of people accessing that document, but the moment somebody requests a lock, so for example, you go into change mode, so you are requesting a lock, then once the lock request is made, any other lock request by the same application will be rejected. So at one point, only one lock request can be made by the application. So we generally use this exclusive, not cumulative. So I'll go with that. Once you maintain the lock mode, go to this lock parameter. Here, based on the table you have provided, it will automatically pick the key fields from that table. So you can leave it as it is and click activate. So my lock object is activated. Now if I go to SC37, and give this star my lock object name star and press F4, you'll see there are two function modules that are created. One is enqueue, the other is dequeue. So whenever you want to apply a lock, you call this function module in your program and pass the document number. So it will apply the lock for that document. So anybody who's trying to open your application with the same document, it will not allow them to make the changes once the lock is applied. And once they are leaving the application, you call this dequeue function module and pass the same document number so that a lock will be deleted for that document. So after that, anybody can open this document for editing again. So if I execute this function module for testing, I'll execute this function module. You just have to call this function module in your program and pass the document number. So here I'll pass some document number, let's say 0099667788, some random number, and I'll execute. At this point the lock is applied for this document number, and if you want to see the locks that are applied, you can go to this transaction SM12. This transaction is also useful. Sometimes while you're editing a program, you may suddenly get disconnected, and after that immediately when you log in back and try to open that program, sometimes you'll get this message saying that the program is already being edited. That's because the lock was applied when you started editing the program, but since you got disconnected abruptly, the system could not remove the lock, so the lock still remained. So in those situations, we generally go to this SM12 transaction and give your username, click on list. It will display all the logs that are applied under your username. So here, if you notice that program is being listed, you simply select that program and click on this delete button to delete the log. So if you see, the moment I executed that enqueue function module, it has applied this log, and this is the document number I passed. So this log is applied for this document. If I go back to this function module and try to execute it again to request a new log for the same document number, it says the lock object is locked by your own transaction. So it is not allowing me to lock it again. It is already locked by somebody else. So in our function module, in our program also, once we call this function module every time the user is requesting to go to change mode, and the first time it will agree, but if some other user is trying to go to change mode for the same document, this function module will throw an exception. So based on that exception, we'll handle our program logic to not allow the user to go into change mode. We'll simply throw an error message saying that this is already being edited and we have to wait for it. Now I'll take this document number and I'll call this dequeue function module. So when I execute this dequeue function module and pass the same document number and execute, now this will remove the lock. So at this point, if I go back to my SM12 transaction and refresh, you'll notice that lock is removed. So now after this, if I can again call this enqueue function module to request a new lock. Okay. So using this enqueue and dequeue function modules, we generally handle the locking, logical locking in our application. So this lock object simply generates this function module. You still have to call them in your program as per your requirement. So in most cases, generally you are creating one application and that application will have a display and change modes or create modes. So whenever somebody clicks on that change button, then before allowing them to enter the change mode, you first verify if the lock is already established. If it is established, you throw an error message and stop them from going into change mode. If it is not established, then you allow them to go to the change mode. So this is something you have to manually handle in your program. The lock object will only give you these function modules using which you can apply the locks. So you can enqueue and dequeue the locks. So this is your lock object. When we discuss module pool programming, maybe we'll see one example where we'll create one application and we'll have few display change buttons on the application, and we'll see how to call these lock objects in that application to apply and remove the locks. Okay. So that's about your lock objects. So in this section, we have actually discussed all of the stuff you can do in your ABAP dictionary. We've seen how to create database tables, views, type groups, search helps, and lock objects. Data types and domains we've already discussed previously. So you pretty much know everything that is possible using the ABAP dictionary. So see you in the next section.